Welcome back. This is part 9. Let's continue the project. Till now we have created this project and it is working fine. It has drag and drop features, dynamic style. Now we will improve this project because there are a few components which has a missing feature and there is a CSS bug that we need to fix. So the missing feature is this is a button, this is input field, and this is an image. If we open style for any of this component, you see we have this placeholder text for input, but if we add any text, it is not changing here. So this is a missing feature. The same for this button. So if we apply a new button text, it's not working, and same for the image. So first we will fix this, and second is CSS bug. So let's say if I open this text and change its font color to red, but if I open any other component and change the color, you will see that the color the text has is gone and it is only for the button. Now if I add one more text component and change color for this one, you see this button text color is gone. So this is a bug in CSS that we will fix today. So let's start with adding this feature for the components first. So for that I will open this function live preview, and in here after this CSS text where we change the input and we see the live changes, below this I will add some conditions to check button input or the image, and then we will apply this let's say if it is a button, we will add this button text and we will apply this text to this button. So for that what we need, first we need to check the target type if it is a button, and second is this input field. We need to check what input field is and read its value. So for that we can check the target type. It should be button, and second is this is event.target because we are inside this event listener input and we have this event here. So this will get us event.target dot name, and name should be, if we check the name for this one, it's button text, so the name should be button text. And if this condition is true, what we can do, we can go to the target element and change its text content to event.target.value. Now let's test this. So if we save it and if I add a component back, the button, and if I change the button text, you see now it is working. So we can change the button text, let's say submit. So as we change the text, it is applied to this button. So this button text component has this new feature. Now we will apply a similar logic for other two components. First is the input text field and next is the image. So for this input text, which is our placeholder inside the input, so what we need to add one more condition, which is if the target type is form text and event.target.name equals to, it is placeholder text, but let's just check. So if we come in here and inspect this, its name is placeholder text, so we can use it. So if this condition is true, we can update the target element and set its attribute. Now this is attribute because it's not some text content, it is an attribute which is this one placeholder. So this placeholder we will target and update this attributes value to target dot value. So as we change the value for this input field, it will update its attribute. So if I save it and add the component back. And now if I update this placeholder text, enter your name, you can see that it is changing as we type for this placeholder inside the input text. So this is working. And the last component is image. So if I open the image and try to change the image URL, it's not working. For that we will add one more logic in here. So if target type is image and event.target.name is image URL, then what we need, so for the image it is different. We cannot directly go to target element and change the image URL. For this, our target is this one, the image div, but inside it we need to go and select the image and then set its source attribute to the value of this input field. So for that we will go to the target element and query selector. We need a query selector because inside this div, this is our target, inside this we have image, so we need to target this image. So we will go and find the image and we will update its attribute, which is source, and we will say it's event.target.value. So now if I add an image here and trying to change the image URL, you see it changes the URL and we can see it's working fine. So for all the three components, button, form text and image, we have added this functionality where we can change the value for each. But now there is one more step that we need to do, which is if I add a button input text and image, and if I change the image and I change this placeholder text and the button text, now you see it's there, it is working fine. But if I go back to this input field and click on this settings button, you see the placeholder input field is not pre-filled with the value, so we need to do the reverse as well. So for that I will go to the function which we have here, dynamic style, because this is what read the values and give us back. Okay, no, not this one. This gets us the style value, but this is what loads the existing styles. And for this I will go to the form, this because this is the form where we read the value and put the value there. So in here there are few changes that we need to make. So I will move this style to outside and this form will go outside. Okay, I will show you later why we need to do this, but first let's just go in here, and before its end we will add few logics in here. So first is, first we can go to the button text. So form dot query selector will go and get the button text, and if we find it, what we need to do, we need to set its value. So now we are targeting this side. So this is the placeholder text. If we go to the button text, so we are targeting this button text input field. So if we find it, what we need to change its value to target element. We have the target element, we need to read value from the target element itself. So we get the attribute, and the attribute name is placeholder. No, not the placeholder, it's a button text. Okay, wait a minute, this is target element. This is not attribute, this is the text content. So we need to get the text content, and if we don't have the text content, we set it to an empty string. So now let's try if it is working or not. If I add a button in here, click here, add button text, apply now, add one more component, click here and then click back. You see we are not getting the value here. Now what is the reason we are not getting the value? Let's come this side. So what happens is we go in here and we check if there is a style. There is no style, so it is not loading. So let's see if we add a style, then it works or not. So if I add a font color, yeah, it's working fine. If I click here, you see now it just read it. But if I click outside and come back, I think it will still work because we have the style, and when we match the style, then this logic will run. So now what we need to do is we need to go out, we need to take this entire form outside. So even if we just add the button text and no style, it should still read the value. So what we can do, we can just take this entire form and move it outside, and then it will complain about the style map because this is inside this if block. We can move it outside. Now if we just save it and let's test this button text, add one more text, the text component. For the button I say apply now, and I will change the background color to maybe some green and font color to white, maybe black, add some padding to 10. Okay, now if I click on the text and click back on the button, you see now we have the CSS is loading, but now the button text is also loading, so it is working fine. Now we can do same for other two components. Next we can do for placeholder. So from dot query selector, we need to select placeholder. Okay, let's just check its name. What is the name of the placeholder here? So if we come in here, the name is the placeholder text. So we can simply come here and update it, placeholder text, and if we find it, then we need to we can create a one variable and put it there, but it's just a simple selection. So I will just copy and paste it again, and we will update its value to target element dot get attribute. Now this time it is attribute because the placeholder is attribute for the input element which is on our target. So we will get the attribute, and attribute name is placeholder, and if it is not there, then simply the empty string. Now I will do for the image, form dot query selector, and the image, we have the image URL, and if we find it, we will go and get the image from the target element, because if you know that when we added the image is inside a container, so we need to go and get this image tag, so we can read its image tag and its attribute source value. So I will go in here and get the image element from target element dot query selector because it is inside that, and I will select the image. And if we find the image element, what we can do, we can say the form input field, which is the image URL, we will update its value to image element dot get attribute, and this time attribute is source, and if it is not there, we will set empty string. Now let's see. So if I come here, add an image and add a text and update the image URL, and if I go and update the text in here, let's say the font color, and I go back to this image, click here, you see it is pre-filling the input field with the image URL. So this feature for the component is working. Now the next step is fixing that CSS bug, and for that let's go to our live preview, because this is what our function which loads the values. And for that we need to go, this is we added for pre-filling the form. Now let's go in here, and in here we need to make few changes and then it will start working. So we have the style tag, we have the input listener on the form, we are updating the CSS rule. So here what we are doing, we are getting the dynamic style from the form, and then we are creating an object and putting it inside the style tag as a text content, which is the CSS rules, and it is working fine. We are not reading the existing values and then merging two values together. So what we need to do in here, I will add a regular expression and I will explain what that regular expression is. So this regular expression is, we have this class name here which we get from the existing element, it is there or not, right? And in here this regular expression, what it does, it will match for the dot and the class name, and then opening and closing curly braces and whatever inside it, it will match that, and then we will get that that CSS rules from this CSS content, and then we will merge two rules together. And we will need a variable, and I will give it a name, merged rules. So we will merge all the rules together in this variable. And now let's go and check if we have the CSS content dot match, and match is our regular expression. And if there is any match, what we want to do, we have the, so let's just console log and check what this match value is. So we'll get more understanding what we need to do with this matched values. So I will add text and a button. For the button, let's add a font color. You see the match, what it returns an array, and in this array we have two things. First we have this say the class name and then the rule, and then we have this a rule and its value only without any class name. So let me add one more value, let's say the padding 10 pixel. Now it returns what? It returns this thing in here. So we have the second value inside this array. We have the rules, the CSS rules, key and value pair in a string form. So what we can do, we can go in here, and so let me actually write it here. So we have the match. I will go and take the second value, and I will do a split with semicolon. So we can just take this value or this value. It will return what? An array of separated with this. It will separate a string with this semicolon, and then we will map over it. And we need to trim it so we don't get any extra space or something, and if there is any empty value we can filter out that as well. And then we have the rules, so we'll say for each rule, what we will do, we'll take the property and the value from it. So we have the rule in here. For the rule we will split it with colon, not semicolon, the colon, and then we will map it. We need to map it so we don't explicitly add some empty space and it creates a problem. So we get it. It will return an array with two things, which is property and value. I will give it a name, and that I will move inside the merged rules, which is an object. So we will have the property and it will have its value. So once we match, we check and we get the prop and value, we move it inside the merged rule object. Now our merged rules equals to the merged rule that we find it here and the styles that we get from this function. So we'll merge the styles and the merged rules that we found it here. And then we have the CSS rule. It will go and check the styles, but now it will go and go through each merged rule, so we can create the object back with the rules and a simple string. And next step is, so if we have a match, it means the CSS was already there. So what we do, we say CSS content equals to CSS content dot replace. So we need to replace the existing rule. So go and find the existing rule, which is this regular expression. This is what gave us the match. Now go and find it, and then we will replace it with the new one. Which is, we have, where is it? This is the class name, and yeah, we can just take it, but okay, let's just make it one more thing. The CSS selector we can create here. So this is CSS selector, and this is what we have as a CSS selector, the class name, and then we will add all the rules in here. So we have CSS rules. So here we have the CSS rules. If it is a match, and if it is not a match, what we can do, we can go to the else section and say CSS content, and there we will add this rule. So we will just simply move this there, and then the same thing, the style text with CSS content. Now let's check if it is working or not. So add a section, text, button. For button I will add a background color of some green, font color of white, maybe black, a padding of 10. Now go to the text. I will change its font size to 24 pixel, add some font color to red. If I click here, it loads its existing CSS. It does not remove it. If I click here and if I change the color, see, we have this button style there. It is not replacing or just removing it. It means we have fixed this CSS bug as well. Yeah, I think that is it. So today we added a feature for the components for button, form input text and the image, and second was that we fixed this CSS bug. So that is it for today. I hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.